everyone. Welcome to the session. This session on belly binding, this was the most demanded session. Like everyone was asking for it. And the guest also that we have today is a really special person. Her name is Nilo. She is a birth doula and a traditional postpartum care doula. And currently she is, just give me 1 minute. So currently, she is also pursuing midwifery with the National College of Midwifery. And
Hey, hi.
hey, hi Vidya, how are you?
Let's. I'm. I don't know what to say. Physically not good, but mentally good.
Okay, just I was just
Yeah.
introducing Nilo, and
Okay.
yeah, she mainly works with home birth, and from the past 1 year, she has been really involved in home birth. And we have a lot of questions for her. We had some stories also put up regarding this live session, and we have received a lot of questions. So we will try to cover all the questions in today's session. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
I
Let's
can see
go
that
ahead.
she has joined. I'll just try to send her a request. Okay.
Yeah. There was some time confusion. She stays in
Oh,
California. Yeah.
oh,
So her
okay.
time is now 9. Hi. So sorry, Nilo,
No
for the time
worries.
confusion.
Hey, hi.
Hi.
I'm Lofer.
I'm
Nice.
Vidya.
Nice to meet you guys.
Same here. We are also very excited to meet you and really looking forward to this session. I'm just
Yes.
done with your introduction, Nilo. I just briefed everyone about what you have been doing, your experience, and your current education that you have been pursuing, and the work that you have been doing. If you would like to add a few words to it, please go ahead.
Okay, sure. So I'm not sure what you guys already went through, but my name is Nilu. I live in California in America. I know most of you are from India. And I'm married with 4 kids. Yeah, very busy. My eldest is 15 and my youngest is 1. So
Oh,
Oh,
there's a huge range I'm dealing with, a lot of hormones. um, and I became a doula, a birth doula, after I had my second baby. So it's been about like almost 11 years. And um, during the pandemic, I actually transitioned to only doing home births. There was a time where doulas couldn't go into the hospital anymore. Um, it was just a really tough time. And so I decided to only take home birth clients. While I was doing that, I was encouraged to just go into midwifery school. It just seemed like the next best transition. And so I'm currently in midwifery school right now. And I'm also a traditional postpartum doula. So here, there's like 2 types of postpartum doulas. There's a postpartum doula who comes to your house and kind of helps the mom with household things like holding the baby, or she might do some dishes, heat up a meal for her, and she sits with her and deals with her emotional needs too, whereas I specifically focus on the mother's healing. So I don't come and like take care of the baby for you or other children or do any household things. I'm focused on the mom, her healing, and getting her through those first 6 weeks and, the 40 days of rest. So that's what I've been up to.
amazing.
that's
Like,
lovely.
really, that was the most exciting thing for me to know that you are a traditional postpartum doula. So, thank you so much for that introduction. It makes things a lot more clearer now. Yeah, Vidya, you have to add something?
No, no, let's get started with the questions.
Yeah, Vidya is actually down with cold and cough.
Oh,
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I will be taking up most of the questions. So, I'll just start with the questions. Yeah, just to give you some background on the session. This is the most in demand or on demand session. That's why we were like, let's have it. Let's. This is not the normal usual time that we go ahead and have live sessions, but we thought let's go ahead with it because we had so many questions regarding belly binding. So
Mm-hmm.
without further ado, I'll just start up with the first one.
Yeah.
My first question, Nilu, to you is when to bind the belly after. I'll club two questions. So, when to bind after vaginal delivery and when to bind after a C-section?
Yeah. So it would be as soon as possible. So with a vaginal delivery, you could literally bind the moment after you deliver. So right after you deliver, you could bind. And with a C-section, you would have to wait anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. It just really depends on the healing of the stitches, the healing of the mom, her comfort level. What I do is over time I've realized that binding right away, actually a lot of moms don't like that, and I've experienced that too, where I just didn't want to be touched at all that first week after delivering. I didn't want anyone to massage me, bind me. I just felt like it was just too sensitive of a time, and I kind of wanted my body to just, take its time for the first week. So I bind 1 week after a vaginal delivery. And then for C-section, I've gone and, did binds for women 2 weeks after a C-section, but it really depends on the mom. If I go there and she's really tender, I can still see the stitches are really raw, then I bind over the stitches. So
Okay.
typically with the belly bind, you start at the hips. If it's a C-section mom, you go above the stitches and you start binding. And then as healing progresses and you see the stitches are healing, you can start at the hips again. So yeah, for both, it's basically immediately, unless with the C-section moms, it's tricky because sometimes there might be an infection. They have to go take care of that. It could prolong up to like 2 months sometimes, so it just
Okay.
depends on the healing.
Yeah. Yeah, just to add over here, it's always best to have your stitches evaluated by the person who is consulting with you, either your medical practitioner or the midwife or the doula who is there. Just have your stitches evaluated before you go ahead and start the binding by yourself. You're doing it by yourself. So, yeah. Next question is what to bind with, because there have been a lot of talks about cotton, using cotton cloth for binding. In India, traditionally, cotton sari was used for
Mm.
binding, and nowadays we have a lot of postpartum, belly belts available in the market. Now, if we go with any of the traditional way, it is kind of very difficult for the woman herself to do it if she's not having anybody else available with her. What do you suggest? Which one is good? Which band or which type of belly binding should the woman choose?
Yeah, so um the best one I would say is a cloth material, so like something that's like a muslin material, like something thicker. Even cotton is fine as long as it's like a thick cotton, not like a super soft cotton. Um, those are the best ones. I know there are like those belly binders that are like you could get them on Amazon. They're just like a Velcro strap. Um, those really don't support you. So it just kind of straps the middle of your abdomen. But when you're belly binding, the most important part is your hip, actually, to help bring everything together. So it should start from the hip and right below your breast. I actually have a few that I took out that I wanted to show you guys.
Okay.
So I guess I'll just put you like right here. Okay. So this is like the traditional bind, similar to like a sari, right? So this
Yeah.
is like 15 feet, no, 15 yards.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's really long. And so what you would do, like for the mom, you would just take a short end, right? You just put it over, and then you start at your hips, like this. And then you take this short end and let me move my head up. You just go tighten it and you go over the long piece and under. So you just kind of
Okay.
over. And then you keep doing that. So you take this long piece, you overlap it. So you don't want to start like up here. You want to overlap all of them, you know? You go around again, and then you take the shorter piece, and all you're doing is just looping around and over. You do this all the way up until here, and then you just tie it off,
Okay.
you know? This one, yes, it can be difficult to do on your own. You
Yeah.
definitely, especially the first few times you do it, you definitely need somebody there, your mom, your
Yeah.
sister, your husband, to kind of help you, because it is hard to
Is it a
navigate.
specialized material, Nilo? Because it seems like, it is having some specific width.
Yes,
Um, yeah.
if you go on like Etsy, this is
Mm-hmm.
actually from a company in Australia called Ibu Ayurveda. So they make belly binds and they make lots of postpartum products, oils, lotions, perineum washes, and they do belly binds too. So yeah, it's like 15 yards, like I said, and then the width is like a specific measurement too. I can't remember. But if you go on Etsy and you just put in belly bind fabric or Bangkok belly bind, there's so many that come up, and it's just like this. It won't be like as pretty as this. It'll just be like a plain muslin color. They might be dyed. Some of them might be dyed. But there's so many like this. These are the ones I like the best. I feel like they are the most
Okay.
beneficial, but you definitely have to put the work in. You definitely have to be committed to doing this, and you're definitely going to need help in the beginning until you kind of figure out how to deal with all the fabric. The other ones, so there's this too, which is super easy. It just looks like this.
Okay.
Okay.
So all you do, it's like the same concept. You just wrap it around, and it already has like these
Okay.
straps. So all you do is you just bring it together and you just tie, you know, tie it, you go down, you tie all the way, right?
Okay.
So these are a little bit harder to find because they make them specifically in like Malaysia, Indonesia. So it's harder to find these kind. I haven't been able to find them on Amazon or Etsy. This one somebody brought back for me from Malaysia. I had a client. But if you could get it made in India, I'm sure it's very simple. Like it's just like a muslin, that muslin
Yeah.
material. It has,
Yeah. I just about asked.
Yeah. Which one? Yeah. Sorry, V. You can go ahead.
No, actually, I remember, as you said, no, after as rem immediately after my delivery, I was tied using a cotton sari, the same width, and the
yeah,
nurse in the hospital tied it for me.
yeah.
So you think sari will also do, but the
Yeah.
width should be okay.
I
She
think,
just rolled it. She just rolled it and just made a little tear and tied it later.
yeah. So I have tried with saris because my
Oh.
daddy told me like that's what we used to do. We used to just take our saris, to fold them in half, and just like tie them really tight.
Yeah.
They didn't do like all the knots and things that people.
Yeah.
Oh, because that's mainly from like Malaysia and Indonesia. That's from that tradition. But in India, yeah, they just would take this, you know, sorry, like this, and just wrap it around really tight, and then tie it at the end. Another way is like when you wrap it at each section. Another way,
Mhm.
like this is an easier way. So like when you wrap it around, you just twist this and then
Okay.
continue and then twist on the other side, that kind
Okay.
of place and makes it tight.
Okay.
But yeah, a sari would definitely work. It would just have to be like a cotton sari, something
Yeah.
Yeah.
simple. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, the question that I had to you, Nilu, was that which one would you prefer? Like, the ones, the samples that you showed us, the first one, the one with the nicer design, or the plain white one? Because the other one seemed a lot easier
It is.
to use.
It's,
Yeah.
there's another one too that this one actually is my favorite for if you're doing it by yourself. So it's the same concept where it's just a one piece. This is also from a brand in Australia. So it's the same. It has all these Velcro
It's
pieces.
very cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, they're all like kind of stuck together. But basically, you the Velcro from each side, and then you just like take it, twist it. This is a smaller size, and then it goes like this. This
Okay.
company gives you two sizes. So there's a big size they send you and a small size. It's
Mhm.
called Unani, I believe.
Yeah.
Unina. It's called
Okay.
Unina.
I guess we're going to need these details from
Yeah,
you. Maybe
Yeah.
we can get in touch with you and we can get these details from
Yes,
you, like
yes.
which exact brand they are and like, from where you got
Yeah.
at
yeah,
least to have that information with us. Yeah,
Yes.
great. Like, yeah, I'm
Very
seeing these
helpful.
print bands for the first time in my life, truly speaking, because I've always been seeing the ones which are sold on Amazon.
yeah.
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 So this one, because it's the same concept as the white one,
Right.
but you can tighten it because it does get loose throughout the day. All of them throughout the day. This one, I feel like you can easily open the Velcro and just tighten it again, especially
Mhm.
after the bathroom. You don't have to undo the whole thing. So this one is my favorite if you're doing it by yourself, you don't have a doula, you're just kind of doing this on your own, you want to invest in your postpartum belly binding. I like this one. And it's
Okay.
be available. You could just go on their website and get it. Whereas the other white one, it's kind of like if you know someone coming from Malaysia or if you have a contact, then you can get it. This one I like if you actually have someone to help you. So like when I go and do postpartum visits, I always take the long one. I do it for them, but I also give them a link to another one to get that they can continue and do on their own because nobody ever I always say bind every day and nobody does it. Tried, it was too hard.
True.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
But
Okay. Thank you so much for that lovely demonstration, Nilu. Yeah, that was like, really good. And for everyone asking the question that, yeah, definitely we are going to save this live session. It will be there both on our Instagram feed as well as on our YouTube channel. So we will be sharing the link with you guys. Just be a little bit patient. So we will be doing that by
Yeah.
tomorrow, and we will be sharing the link. Yeah, that was lovely, Nilo. Like, really lovely demonstration. Thank you so much for that.
yeah, you're
Uh, yeah. So moving on to my next question. How long? Okay, I'll club again two questions in here because there have been many people who have been asking these questions to me. So one is how tightly should you actually bind it, and how long during the day you should keep it on, like after you bind your belly, how long it
yeah.
should be kept.
So for tightening, it should be like if it should feel snug, but not
Okay.
painful. So, you don't want it loose. You want to feel like everything's kind of coming together and you feel snug. It feels like a hug, like someone's giving you a nice hug. You don't, if it feels painful at all, or, you're just super uncomfortable, you can't really walk or sit, it's too tight. So you don't want to ever do it too tight. It should just feel nice, comfortable, and secure. That's the main feeling you should get from it. Like I feel nice and secure with this on. And you should keep it on anywhere from like 10 to 12 hours.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so you would either like put it on in the morning and just keep it on until evening, or you could put it on in the evening and sleep with it. I like to have it on in the daytime, so I'll wake up, put it on, and then take it off before bed because you have a baby, you might be like walking here and there, so it just kind of helps support you during the day while you're doing all of the millions of things that mothers do.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. And how many days is it suggested? How many days to bind the belly?
For the full 6 weeks. So,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, from like when you start, so like let's say you start on day 5 or something, all the way until you're 6 weeks. So, you know, it just in that time, like 6 to 8 weeks after you have a baby, your hormones, you still have all those hormones that are keeping all your ligaments and everything soft. So the point is that you want to bind during that time because when you're binding, you're bringing everything together, right? And if everything's soft still, it's easily able to come together. After those 6 to 8 weeks, those hormones go away and the relaxant hormones, they're gone, and so it's harder. You could still bind, but it just becomes harder and a longer process to kind of bring everything together, you know. So you want to do it in that 6 week time.
What are the
Okay.
benefits, Nilo, of belly binding? Like yeah.
Yeah, so one of the benefits is just it helps bring all your organs back into place. You know, when we become pregnant, all our organs shift all over the place to make room for baby. When the baby leaves our belly, the organs are just kind of still all over the place, and so they have to find their way back where they belong. So the binding kind of helps bring everything back together and helps push all those organs back into their place. It helps shrink the uterus. It helps, most importantly, I think it helps bring those abdomen muscles that have separated back together. So there's something called diastasis recti, which if you've had, you know, um, multiple kids or twins, you could experience that where the muscles naturally, your abdomen muscles naturally go back into place after delivery. For some women that doesn't happen. So there's literally a gap between their abdomen. So there's like space, you know, like 3, 4 finger space. And you could check for that. You know, like above your belly button, if you put 2 fingers above your belly button and just turn this way, and push in while you're laying down. You just tilt your head and your knees, you push in. And if you can put your finger in all the way and feel a gap, that means you have diastasis recti, you know? So
Okay.
you, and some women can put 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4 fingers. I've put like an entire hand in before. So, you know, that's, yeah. And it's painful for the woman because there's basically no core support anymore. So,
Right.
it you know it causes pain for her during daily activities. You still look like you're pregnant, kind of like you have this round pouch, you know, because the muscles aren't supporting everything. So belly binding really helps to really bring those abdomen muscles back together and close that gap. So that's why you want to do it, you know, every single day for 10 to 12 hours to make sure that gap gets closed. You know, I've visited a woman, she must have been like a year postpartum, and
Mm-hmm.
she did have diastasis recti, and it was big. It was like a 4 finger, like I was sticking 4 fingers in her stomach, you know.
Oh.
And I showed her how to belly bind, and she was very committed because she just didn't want this anymore. She binded every single day, and I went and visited her just 4 weeks after, and it closed to two fingers
Oh.
just in
Oh,
4 weeks, you know, and she's continued and now it's closed. So, you know,
Wow.
it's just amazing. There are women who they'll go to their doctor and say, you know, I'm having diastasis recti. I don't know what to do. It's so painful. And they literally have no solution for them. You know, they're just like, try these exercises, but it doesn't really work. So, I mean, this is just amazing. It's like a traditional method, but it works, you know?
right.
So,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the benefits. Of course, bringing heat to your body, that's a very big thing in postpartum. I'm sure you've heard your grandmother say, stay warm after you have a baby, wear socks, eat hot foods, don't drink cold water, you know, wear a sweater. It's all true. They're
Yes.
right. So it just kind of, you know, brings your body warmth, keeps you warm, brings warmth to your womb, your uterus. Those are all beneficial in helping the blood flow, you know, and helping with the healing. When the blood flows, it promotes healing your body.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you for that. Does it also like, yeah, diastasis recti is definitely like, a very a big benefit that you mentioned. Does it also help to flatten the stomach? This is, kind of the most asked question by every woman out there who's pregnant or who's in her postpartum period. Like everyone wants to know if they are going to belly bind, will it help them to flatten their stomach?
Yes. So I want to answer this question in two parts. So one, yes, it does help flatten your stomach, yes, because you're like binding every day, you're going to lose inches. It helps with water retention after you have a baby, right? Um, but two, that's not the goal. The goal isn't to flatten our stomachs. The goal is to promote healing and health to our body. And I've had lots of women ask me this too, like that I work with, like, is this, they call it like what is it? Like a waist trainer. This is not a waist trainer. This is a traditional method of healing. So I think our mindset as women also needs to change where we shouldn't focus on, is it going to flatten my stomach? It should just be focused on the healing aspect of it. Obviously, yes, you will see benefits of your stomach flattening, but I will say, because it's happened to me. I mean, I'm a mother of four, so yes, I did the belly bind every single day, 12 hours, everything, and I did lose inches and weight, and my stomach did become flatter. But after I stopped using it, obviously, like, you're naturally eating and breastfeeding, so you just put on weight or your stomach might expand a little bit, and that's normal. I feel like for women who are in the mothering phase of their life, it's good to have a little bit of fat on you. Like we need that, we need that to survive because we're just doing so much in the day all the time. We're literally, not only are we healing ourselves, we're taking care of a baby, we're nourishing the baby. We have so many things going on. So your body needs a little bit of fat. Like I feel like it's a blessing that God has given us to give women a little bit of fat, like because if
Thank
we
you
were
so
able to,
much. That was just such a lovely, lovely
Yeah.
answer, Nilo.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much for that, answering it so elegantly. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that every woman should really understand, that postpartum period or the first 6 weeks or 2 months or 3 months, that is not really the time to think about flattening your stomach. That is the time to think about your recovery, your body's nourishment, your baby's nourishment, and overall kind of like building up the lost strength.
yeah,
You have really had a huge expenditure of energy during
yeah,
the pregnancy and during childbirth. So that should be your main focus.
yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Nino.
I just want to,
Vidya, you want? Yeah,
sorry,
yes,
Yeah.
please.
say,
Yeah, please go ahead.
um, because I know people, there might be people who love to work out and all that stuff, and I will say that's great and fabulous, but I always recommend after having a baby to work out 6 months to a year after. So, to never just do, oh, okay, it's been 6 weeks now. I did my rest. I'm going to start working out because your body will feel all of that. It takes almost 10 months to grow a baby. So you need to give yourself almost that much time to heal from that experience. You might think after 6 weeks I'm fine, but your body is definitely not okay yet, and it just needs, like, I feel like a full year of just rest, recovery, taking slow walks until you really start working out and trying to lose weight. Because I know, like, for me too, like, I'm not in like the best shape of my life right now, and I'm okay with that, but I know, okay, I can start working out now. It's been a year. So to just really put that, I need to lose weight, I need to lose weight, put it away, go back to that in a year.
Yes.
Thank you. That
Yeah.
was really lovely advice. I think really every pregnant woman, every woman who's in a postpartum period should listen to Nilo. What she said is like, absolutely right. And Vidya and I both, of course, we definitely
Yeah.
support the same idea. Okay. Vidya, you want to take up the next question?
No, no, you can. I don't know when I will sneeze, so.
No,
Yeah. So another, okay, maybe I'll come to this question at the end. Mm, yeah. So this is again another very frequently asked question. Is it still helpful after, say, a month or 2 months of delivery? I guess you already answered that. Like, if somebody has not really binded their belly and, it's been like 2 months, 3 months, um, can you tell us the duration, like, when it will still be effective? Because it can't be like, it's been 8, 9 months of my, since the time I've given birth to my baby, and now I'm starting to bind my belly. So
Yeah.
it may not help. So what is the effective duration you would suggest wherein women can still think of binding their belly?
Yeah. So I think, like I said, that 6 to 8 weeks is really, that's the key time because you just have those relaxant hormones. After that, you could still bind. You could bind your whole life, but it's for different reasons, right? You'll see a different benefit. And so, I would say, let's say it's been past 3 months, you're not really going to see the same benefits as you would, after you had the baby within that 3 month time, right? After 3 months, it's more so just for core support, to help like with your back if you have back pain. Um, I love binding. I tell everyone to bind when you're on your period. So after you had a baby, if you got your period back, or if it's been years since you have kids and you just get, you have a period, every month on your period, you should bind because when you're on your period, you're in a postpartum state too. You're bleeding, you're cramping, you have back pain, you need to rest, and you need to feel that hug and that snug I was talking about. So to belly bind, in your period is amazing. It feels so good. You feel so supported. It really helps with the cramping and, that feeling of like, you get bloated. You feel bloated when you're on your period. So it really helps with that. So there are benefits still continued, like lifelong benefits, but it's not the same as kind of really bringing everything
Yeah.
together. By then, your organs might have gone back into place. It would have taken time. It's not like an immediate fix, like, whereas when you're belly binding, you're bringing everything back together right away. You're helping that, you're promoting that healing and bringing everything together and the heat. Whereas if you didn't bind for like, it's like 8 months now and you're like, oh, should I belly bind? Everything kind of already happened,
Right.
so you're binding for a different reason now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that, Nilo. Yeah, I'm just going to club 2, 3 questions because we are already out of time.
Yeah.
So one thing is, does belly binding affect digestion in a negative way? And does it have any kind of effect on constipation? Because most of the women are constipated after childbirth.
Yeah.
So digestion and constipation, these two things, what are the effects of belly binding?
No, it doesn't. It actually has a positive effect on both those things. Because again, you're helping your organs go back into place. So everything kind of knows where its place is, how it works. With digestion, like you're promoting that heat and, blood flow again. So it just kind of helps bring everything out of the system easily. So I would say no. And I know a lot of women get constipated after having a baby. um, I don't think that has anything to do with belly binding. I think we really have to hydrate ourselves after we have a baby. You could take like magnesium to kind of soften all your muscles. Like if you don't want to take a stool softener or anything, like magnesium really helps. Most women are depleted in magnesium and vitamin D anyway, so we should be taking those anyways in our pregnancies and continue into our postpartum. That should just be, a routine that women should do. So yeah, I would say no, it doesn't affect those things in a negative way.
Okay, thank you so much. My last question, and I'll be done with it. Before going on to the last question, I just want to check if there are any other questions from the users. Yeah, we are going to share this video. I'm just reading the questions for myself because most of them we've already covered. Okay, and I'll read out only the ones which we have missed.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we've covered almost everything. Now, this last question that I have, there's a kind of like, doctors like in India, right now, if you talk about home births are, I guess, like, really rare to find. People have started, moving towards natural births and midwives and doulas, that culture has started coming back. I would not say coming, like, it's not new to India, but it has started coming back slowly. But most of the women deliver their babies at a hospital setting. And the doctors that are over there, they don't really suggest belly binding. I don't know the reasons why they do not suggest, except for, of course, like, as we discussed about, the stitches of C-section or any other kind of complication that the woman has, which the doctor knows well. If it's a case of, if there are no complications and say, if we are not even talking about a C-section, say it's a vaginal birth and there have been no complications and still the doctor has not suggested. What do you think? This is just like, I just want to know your opinion on it. So it's more
Yeah.
like, an opinionated question for you.
Yeah. So I think when we are trying to look into traditional methods of healing and care, you it's hard to ask someone who is like in a medical field, or like their thinking and their study is different, right? So they're not looking in traditional medicine and traditional healing and care, we're looking at the whole person. Like, okay, you're having this element, let's look at all of you and see what's going on. Whereas with some doctors, they're looking just at what's happening. Okay, you just had a baby. That's what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And so they can't see you as a whole person and see like, oh, this is actually beneficial for your entire healing in postpartum. So I would think that's why they're saying no. Also, most people who say no to these things don't even know the benefits of it themselves. They think it kind of takes away from what they've learned and their studying and how they see healing. They think it's a negative thing, it's taking away from them. And I know I'm Indian too, so I can say this, but even here in the US, I've found that the Indian doctors are the ones that are just so negative about anything holistic or natural. Even a mother like laboring a certain way, they just, it's like this complex they have of, I'm right, you must listen to me. Like there's no communication where, okay, like what are your wishes, what do you want to do? It's more like this, I'm the doctor, I'm the one with this education, this is what I'm telling you and this is what you must do. I think
Okay.
if you're going to a hospital to deliver your baby, that's the situation there mostly, that's fine. But when it comes to postpartum, unless you're talking to a doctor who's like specific in postpartum, I wouldn't take any advice from them, like, because there are so many, like vaginal steaming is one of them. They might say, don't do vaginal steaming, you could burn yourself, and we know there's so many benefits to vaginal steaming, even outside of the postpartum, like just to have a healthy period. It could help with fertility. It could help with, fibroids, cysts. We know that. So, and I've seen that myself with clients, So I think we in our heads have to separate, like, okay, if I'm doing something, traditional and natural, you can't ask a medical doctor about it. It's like going to an OBGYN and saying, should I have a home birth? The OBGYN is going to say, no, you shouldn't have a home birth. you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a lovely answer, and I'm like, really happy talking to you. It has been a lovely, lovely, lovely session and such an educational one with,
Yeah.
someone talking about belly binding and showing the right ways and the right things to do. It, trust me, this session is going to help, like, I think
So many.
thousands of women. Okay.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Nilo, for taking
I have
time.
one last,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Just because many of mothers cannot get what you showed, right? Those
Yeah.
postpartum bells. So what they did for me was like, they she wrapped a sari, and then the belt which we get in Amazon, right? On top of the sari, she made me wear the Velcro. So
Yeah.
do you think that will help?
Yeah.
You
It'll
know,
kind
just
of help keep the sari in place. Yeah, that's totally fine.
perfect.
I will DM you guys after we're done the links.
Yeah, we
But
need that
Yes,
actually.
yes,
Yeah, just one thing, I just want to add one thing to what Vidya said. So if you're like, using the sari as per like, the knowledge that I've acquired from Nilo in this session, start it from your hips and go all the way till under your breasts, because that is the right way of doing it. Do that, and then like, if you just want to keep everything in place, you can go for the like, the ones that are available at Amazon, because that would really hold it off. But the main idea of like, having a sari below that belt is because usually the belts do not provide hip to
yeah,
like,
yeah,
just like, up to like entire way up to your chest. They do not provide that support. So yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Thank you so much,
thank you
Nilo.
so much.
It was like really great. It was really, really, really lovely session,
Yes,
and I'm sure it's going to benefit a lot of women out there. And we're still waiting for your inputs. So yeah, we'll look forward to that. And
yes, we
you
have
mentioned
another session
vaginal
actually with
steaming.
us.
Yeah, you mentioned vaginal steaming, and I was so intrigued to ask you a few questions on that, but not in this one. So let's plan for
yeah.
another section. And yeah, definitely let's meet again. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
I would
Yes,
love that. Thank you.
bye.
It was an honor talking to you all, and I really hope this was beneficial to those watching and listening.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you so
definitely.
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.